Hey everybody, Jason Schneider here from PerceptionAcademy.com, and I just wanted to do a quick video answering the question, what are submodalities in NLP? And before we even answer that question, I'm going to start out with a little bit of a demonstration. So if you're driving a car or anything like that, definitely use your discretion. This may be an easier process to do with your eyes closed, so make sure you're somewhere safe as we do this. And what I'd like you to do is we're going to pick an experience to work with. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to pick an experience from your recent personal history that when you think about it, you feel a little bit bad about it. It's either you're upset, you're frustrated, you're sad, a little bit of a negative ting to it. And nothing major, obviously. I'm not there with you. This is just a demonstration for you to experience submodalities. So on a scale of 0 to 10, I'd like you to pick something maybe around a 5. A 4 maybe would be good, or a 6 maximum. Again, I'm not there with you. We're just experimenting with your consciousness. And really, that's the best way to look at NLP, as an experimentation to explore your consciousness and see what works for you, and if you can find more resourceful patterns for you to live with than the ones that you were using before. And so I'd like you to just take a moment, pause the video now, and come back when you have a memory of something this week that when you think about it, you don't feel so great about it. And again, on a scale of 0 to 10, something around a 4 to 6 range. So pause the video now, and I'll see you in just a moment. Wonderful. So you should have a memory now to work with. And what I'd like you to do is to kind of pull up that memory in your mind. And as you do, you're going to notice one of two things. Either you are, as you remember that, either you are stepped into it. So you're looking through your own eyes as if it was happening right now. And some of you, that's going to be a normal, natural thing. And some of you, that might even be a pattern of how you remember things most of the time. And others of you are going to be having that memory where you see yourself in it. So it's almost like you're watching it on a TV screen, or you just see yourself, the full body over there, right? Or wherever it is in your mind. And for some people, that might be a normal, natural way that you look and think about most of your memories, right? What I'd like you to do is just for a moment, if you were stepped into it, kind of looking through your own eyes, I'd like you to pop out and see yourself in that experience over there and notice how that affects how you feel about it. And if you were the person who was stepped out, I'd like you to kind of pop into it, looking through your own eyes, and experience that moment from that memory from the inside, re-experience it, and notice how that affects how you feel, how that changes the way that you feel in or about that memory. And just do that for a moment. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like everybody now to kind of pop out. So everyone, we're all going to be in the same place here. We're going to be seeing ourselves in that memory. Now, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take that memory and I'd like you to make it a little bit brighter. A little bit brighter, just kind of like you had a knob on a TV screen or a clicker on the button, and you could just move the brightness up and make it brighter, 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 brighter. And notice that effect on your physiology, on your neurology, on your state when you make it brighter. And I'd like you just to hit the other button and make it dimmer, 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 dimmer. And notice how that affects the way you feel about this memory as you make it dimmer. And I'd like you now to just put it back the way that it was, the brightness that it was. We're going to experiment with distance now. So I'd like you to take it, and wherever it is, like some of you, it might be really close to you. Some of it might be about arm's length. Some people, it might be further out. I'd like you to move it farther away, farther and farther and farther and farther and farther away. And notice how that affects how you feel about this memory that before was bothering you. And put it back to normal, where it was, distance-wise. And then I'd like you to bring it closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. And again, notice if and how that affects the way you feel about this memory. Keeping in mind that we haven't changed the content of the memory at all. The memory has had the same content in it. We've just been playing with the submodalities, the cinematic features of this content, this movie. And I'd like you now to put the movie back to normal. And so I'd like you just to come back to the present. If your eyes were closed, you can open your eyes. You can put that memory back wherever it belongs. If you somehow learned a better way of encoding it, right? If you prefer to have it stepped out and you were stepped in, then you or your other than conscious mind can leave it in whatever way serves you better if there happened to have been something that you learned from this experience. And there we just played with a couple of the visual submodalities. So we played with the associated stepped in, disassociated stepped out. We played with the submodality of brightness and dimming, and we played with the submodality of closeness and distance. And there's a lot more. We can make them larger and smaller. We could make them three-dimensional or flat. We can put frames around them. There's lots of different things that we can do with our memories. And our imaginations, by the way, the things that we picture in our mind that haven't necessarily happened, our future projections, right? All of these things have these cinematic features, these submodalities. And there's submodalities in all of the sensory systems. So we have auditory submodalities. We can make it louder, 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 or quieter, 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 quieter. We can fade it off to this side. We can fade it off to that side. And all of these things are going to have an impact on our state depending on how we encode the content of the memory. And again, with some modalities, we're working with the structure of the experience. So we're not changing the content. The content remains the same, but just by altering our perspective on it, it will influence our state so we can work with our memories in a way that's authentic. So there's a lot more to go into here with submodalities, but just for a short, brief, definitional and experiential session on submodalities, I hope that this was a good experience for you to begin to become more flexible at playing with your internal representations, your memories, your imaginations, your future projections, and being able to encode them in ways that are more resourceful, right? So sometimes, a lot of times, people have their negative memories, their unresourceful memories, and they're stepped into them, re-experiencing them. So whenever they think about it, they get those negative feelings back. And so it might be more resourceful for you to pop out and see that person over there that looks a lot like you from the past feeling less than resourceful from a nice, calm, and confident and resourceful place on the outside, and be able to watch that from the outside. So I've got Bella scratching at the door. It's time for her to come in, which means it's time for me to end this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them anywhere you can on this page. Definitely share this with anyone you think it would be valuable for. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to get updates when I release my new videos a couple times a week at least. And feel free to check out my website at perceptionacademy.com to check out a lot more cool free NLP training and articles just like this one to help you to advance and accelerate along your pathway of mastering NLP, mastering yourself, and mastering your skills at coaching others to unleash their highest potential.